Hello everyone, welcome to Dr. Rajkumar Academy. Welcome to the session on 8-10-2022 newspapers. So let's quickly get into today's news articles. Today's news articles are not extremely important, but most of the concepts are debatable. So because of that, if you are looking at that, this is essential. Let's go one after the other. PM likely to inaugurate Kempegowda International Airport T2 on November 10th. Not required. Rights champion in Belarus, Russia, Ukraine get Nobel. Nobel Peace Prize is always chosen politically, is what people argue. And now, when Russia is attacking Ukraine and when the war is going on in the region, we are actually observing that this rights group has come together and they have given Nobel Peace Prize to a person who has actually fought for human rights in Belarus, Russia, and Ukraine. So this is a clear-cut indication that at the time of war, they are trying to provide Nobel Peace Prize to a person from that particular region. So nothing much, guys. For other exams, if you are aware about the name, right? Alice Bialietsky. I don't know how you pronounce it. So if you are thorough with that, that should be good enough. Panel to study SC status of Dalits post conversion. See, guys, at the time of independence, Ambedkar, when he gave constitutional reservation to Dalits, it was mostly for Hindu Dalits. Later, Sikh community Dalits, whoever has converted to Sikh community, like in 1956, they were also given reservation. In 1990s, whichever Dalit has converted into Buddhism, even he was given SC status. But there are certain people who have converted into Islam. There are certain people who have converted into Christianity. And should they also be given SC status? Is the question. Constitutionally, there is no provision, but most of the reservation and other things accept them and provide them. So, should we provide it constitutionally also? Is what the debate all about. So the court has taken cognizance of this and it has actually set up a three-member committee to look into the issue. So let us wait for the hearing and other things to be completed. So now let's quickly get into the editorial pages, guys. In the editorial page, one important aspect I would say is for um, urbanization, which is part of your society, and it's a very important article for geography optional students as well. What exactly is the article all about? This is talking about Tamil Nadu urbanism, that is how urbanization happened in Tamil Nadu. See, guys, anywhere in the world urbanization happens mainly because of industrialization. That is, whenever people come out of rural areas and when they settle in urban areas because of the opportunities that urban areas provide, then it is urbanization. In India, according to census definition, we normally say that at least population must be more than 5,000, right? Density must be 400 persons per square kilometer, and at the same time, what is more important is 75% of the male working population must be involved in other activities. Now, these are the stuffs which are extremely important when it comes to urbanization or urban areas. Today, when we look at Tamil Nadu, in Maharashtra, Gujarat, and many other places, the number of cities to rural areas are extremely less. And the main reason for this is, industries have driven urbanization only in few areas, whereas in Tamil Nadu there are many other aspects which needs to be considered, is what the article is trying to argue. Apart from industrialization, the most important one was agro towns, where, there will be some villages that will produce a particular crop, and there will be a processing center for that. Fine. All these three will be there together. So, what is going to happen? Based upon agriculture, a town has developed. We call it as agro towns, right? And they also talk about, small bodies and all, where they normally talk about, truck bodybuilding industries, right, small parts industries, assembly industries. They also helped in establishing of towns. For example, they give Namakkal, Salem and all started developing because of this. And then Gandhiji was of the opinion to revamp villages, whereas in Dravidian policy they believe that village is a symbol of caste. This can be used in society. See, because village is a symbol of caste. Why? Because village land is there. People are divided into land holders and landless and worker, peasants. So, based upon that, different castes are being provided, and based upon that caste hierarchy that we normally observe, we see that there is some sort of shift, right? But when you enter into urban areas, what is going to happen? In urban areas it is purely urban centric. So no one will ask in urban area which caste you belong to, which religion you belong to. It doesn't matter to them. Whatever you are, people accept you. So rural areas is a symbol of caste, whereas urban areas is a symbol of emancipation from the caste. This is the basic difference that one must understand. And when people tell that urbanization is increasing, one most important aspect that happens is coming out of the caste system, and it may also help in gender, empowerment as well, because especially women empowerment happens as they get different job opportunities. So guys, this is the main discussion that is present in this particular part. I would have respected the article and asked you to write it in detail if it was for entire India, as it is associated with Tamil Nadu and a Dravidian culture. So if you try to use these examples, that in Tamil Nadu, urbanization is mainly because of agro towns, small industrial setups and all, it would be more better. So use this as examples in your answers, that we can also do like this, rather than using it as what do you call answer itself. Because see guys, anything which shows one community thinking over the other, and whichever tries to prove that one is better than the other, always leads to division. So using that as an example is fine, but here it tries to say about the culture, Dravidian culture is better. You do not have Vaishya community, OBCs are there, SCs are given, so this is our culture. When something is of that sort of talks, for a UPSC aspirant who is preparing at this level, who is writing answers at this level, that doesn't look good. So avoid such arguments in your articles, guys. The atrophy of the Neo-Buddhist movement in India. See, guys, you might have heard Ambedkar in 1956, with his millions of followers, embraced Buddhism. And today, Maharashtra has one of the largest Buddhist population in India, mainly because of this. So, the author calls this to be Neo Buddhism, and Neo Buddhism did not progress much. Even in states like Uttar Pradesh and all, people did not go to Buddhism. But today it is Modi who is actually taking the credit, and he is trying to show himself to be a protector of Buddhism not only in India, he is also trying to show it in Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Japan, China, and many other parts. This is all the Neo-Buddhist movement which the present government is trying to take up. So this is mostly about the politics involved. Normally, I ask you to avoid these professors and all. Guys, the discussion is mostly about what we call as the next article. Guys, it's about Nobel Peace Prize in Chemistry. Yes. This is extremely important, guys. This is extremely important. A view of the Milky Way galaxy behind Indian Astronomical Observatory at Hanle in Ladakh. You might have heard at Hanle, India is trying to have astronomical observatory. That means to study the space objects. For that to happen, what is required is the sky must be completely clear without clouds. Second, when you go to higher altitude, the wind deflection and other things also reduces. And third, there must be complete darkness to such an extent that even stars must not twinkle, right? So, when you have these conditions, then what is going to happen? It is very easy for them to study. And in this particular area, there must be no lights also. What is the meaning of that? Surrounding areas, houses, nowhere, even there must be a small lamp, right? So that tourists who come will come and do astronomical studies. And for this to happen, the residents has to involve. So the residents are also part of this program where they ensure that beyond a particular time period there won't be any light anywhere. So this is what we are talking about. Like the Hanley village, where India has declared it as International Dark Sky Reserve. And remember, guys, for anything to be of dark sky reserve, it must be having clean skies, high altitude, and complete darkness. Guys. This is very, very important, right? So, like first time when India was looking at it, it was near Javadi Hills in Tamil Nadu region, where we had over a period of time we were identifying such places, right? And we have kept in multiple areas, but this time we have kept it in Ladakh region, which will be extremely helpful to study. So this article is more technical, but in your notes, what is important is Hanley village, Hanley village, hyphen, clean sky, clean sky, high altitude, high altitude, and complete darkness. High altitude and complete darkness are important, are important to declare it as International Dark Sky Reserve. Yes, yes. So next, Karge rejects remark that he will be controlled by Gandhi family. Fine. Ahead of assembly poll, Congress in Gujarat faces defections. One page they are wasting every day on this list. So not helpful for aspirants or the student community. Hindu newspaper nowadays, especially people read it because other newspapers are not up to the mark. But Hindu newspaper is also day by day. It is focusing more on the political issues rather than the aspirant related issues. That's why people also refer to PIB and all. So, once you get accustomed to reading newspaper quickly, because even after all this, I have observed students reading this type of newspaper for more than 1.5 to 2 hours, guys. So if you look, the articles are not at all important. And still, if you are preparing 1.5 to 2 hours on these type of newspapers, then what is going to happen? You do not have time for other important aspects. So my main intention of doing this newspaper is to ensure that you complete it within half an hour to 45 minutes. And over a period of time, you have significant time period to read Yojana, Kurukshetra, PIB and all. So that actual areas from where questions are coming and how exactly you are able to interpret would be easier, guys. So my sincere request to you all is that focus more on your preparation in a positive note rather than focusing in the negative note, guys. And when you are focusing it in the positive note, see newspaper as an information provider. Whatever information is right, you go with it. If not, don't go. It's not that just because Hindu newspaper is important, each and every article which doesn't make any sense, if I keep on elaborating them just to show you that even we can teach you for 1.5 hour, it doesn't do justice to you all. So, any issue if we take, we will try to analyze them in detail and help you out what to be written so that an average man, when he takes a newspaper, he should not spend more than 1 hour for preparing. Petitioner moves court for FIR copy in PFI case. See, because the FIR copy is also not given in PFI case, so they have moved to the court, nothing much. Center seeks CJ's recommendation on appointment of a successor. So that's a regular procedure, is nothing much. Varna and caste system should be discarded. RSS is trying to say that Hinduism must be united, there must be no caste. Varanasi court defers order on petition filed by Hindu plaintiffs in Gyanvapi case. So again, guys, the Hindu groups have filed a case in Gyanvapi case. Last time the court had told that let the puja and all keep going on. It used to happen once in a while. They wanted it to be regular, and the court gave the verdict. But they want more things into it, and that the court has said let's look into it. India objects to recent visit of US ambassador to POK. See, guys, POJK, Pakistan occupied Jammu and Kashmir, is under the control of Pakistan and it is separated from Jammu Kashmir by line of control. And US normally avoids going into this region because it shows US recognizing it as part of Pakistan and it will be against India. But for the first time, you can observe that US is visiting to POK. I don't know what is happening because India is supporting Russia. Maybe US wants to say that as you are going closer to Russia, we are going closer to Pakistan. We are not aware about this. But the most important aspect that we need to look in this particular area is about what you call as India's visit, sorry, US visit to POK is objectionable. That's it. Respect and guarantee human rights to Uyghurs of Xinjiang, says MEA. So, guys, when we are talking about Ministry of External Affairs, for the first time, they are saying that Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang province must be protected. their human rights must be protected. Always India was quiet on certain issues, but for the first time, India is of the opinion that we need to focus upon United Nations Human Rights Council debate on Uyghur Muslims, guys. So this is a significant change, especially talking about that. Yesterday itself, I was telling you, India said we don't want to have a debate, but now they have commented about it and asked us to, ask China to protect human rights of the people. So this is extremely important development. So let us see what is going to happen. But let me explain, guys, what is happening. Uyghurs are Muslims, guys. They want to follow Islam. Unfortunately, China is not allowing these Uyghurs to follow, and that has led to a lot of issues in the region, guys, that we need to overcome in this particular aspect. So the world community is discussing about the human rights violation that is actually happening. India UK free trade pact may miss October deadline. Yesterday we were talking that UK is not happy about migrants from India entering into UK. So they were thinking about signing the agreement, and India is not willing to have an agreement without migrants entering into UK. So it they thought, when Prime Minister Modi is visiting in the last week of October, especially during Diwali, so they want to ensure at that point their signatures will be there, and this may miss the deadline mainly because both countries have their own concerns associated with it. Guys, Uttarakhand avalanche. Avalanche basically means, guys, it is mass wasting in geography, and because of that, certain people have been killed and some people have went missing. So don't worry about it. India can lead G20 on education, climate, and debt sustainability. That's a very, very important article, guys, where the World Bank chief is telling that one, education. India is playing an extremely important role, giving money for education in African countries. Second, when it comes to climate sustainability as well, right? India is playing a very important role by going for international solar alliance in multiple parts of the world. Third, when it comes to debt sustainability, especially with respect to Sri Lanka, India has a major role to play. This is what the article is trying to tell. See, guys, if they have given what all India is doing, it's different. But if they are just trying to tell, these are the aspects where India is working better, it's not important. Cough syrup's death will have India's image. That is true, guys. Congress is criticizing Indian government that be careful because ours is a very important pharmaceutical company in the world, and if you try to damage this through such products, it will have impact, and that's absolutely true. And killing, any individual on earth just because of the fake products is not correct. Every healthy man is obliged to provide for his wife, children, Supreme Court, not required. IARI says stubble burning in Punjab is a 3-year low. So, over a period of time, Punjab and Haryana is reducing stubble burning, but Uttar Pradesh is increasing. So, government recently has told that the stubble which is obtained must be actually put in the coal power plants or so and reduce its burning outside, which will have significant impact on Delhi. So, it's a good part that they are talking. Let us see burning of stubble in Uttar Pradesh, will it has any impact in Delhi? Because the winds will be mostly westerly during this particular period. So we need to wait and watch how the issue would be. Ukraine predicts more gains as Putin's general face flack. That means, like, Ukraine is trying to recover the regions which Russia had taken long back. Ahead of midterm elections, Biden pardons Americans for possession of cannabis. So don't worry, not required. This is about the elections of US. Ukraine changes mind on UNHRC vote on Xinjiang. Serious. Ukraine is asking the world community that please help us in the name of human rights. And today, Ukraine is supporting China rather than supporting Xinjiang, especially Uyghur Muslims. Why? Because they want Chinese support in the war. So can you imagine? Every country wants, like to work on its own self-interest, but every country expects the other country must act in human rights. So, Ukraine wants the world to act because of human rights violation, but it wants to act in its own selfish interest because, for Ukraine, country is more important, and for others, country is not important. Human rights must be important. So, this is where the rights group who try to defend these countries should learn that every country acts purely on the basis of its own self interest, and no government or no country should act in other means. Government kicks off IDBI bank disinvestment process. Guys, the meaning of disinvestment is, let me explain. So I have, let us say, 30% share in a bank. Now government will tell whoever wants to purchase this 30% of the share, they can take, and the shares will be given to those people whoever wants to purchase. So that process is called as disinvestment. What is going to happen? See guys, privatization is different from disinvestment. What is privatization? Now I have a company like LIC where Indian government holds, I'm giving you an example, 100%. So whose it is? It is completely Indian government. Now, what Indian government will do? Indian government will give 24% to outsiders and keep 76%. So at that time, major shareholder is Indian government. So the company still belongs to government. Let us say 51% will be under Indian government control, 49% is outside. Even at that point of time, we observe that, right? Even at that point of time, we observe that it will be under Indian government control because 51% decides what needs to be done. But below 51%, if Indian government is giving up, so the company is no more under Indian government control, it is already privatized. Similarly, here the stakeholder is only 30%. Over a period of time, even if we give up, India is not losing anything because already we have lost con control over it. Fine. So this is what they're trying to say. Now, when they say disinvestment, they might not be selling everything completely. They will be selling some part of it. So, guys, these were some of the news articles that were important. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot.